Welcome to Sports Guy Talking. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am joined by guest Spencer Broad to talk about the Warriors dominating the Celtics in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Despite Jason Tatum playing much better in Game 2 of the NBA Finals, the Celtics got killed on the floor by the Warriors. Steph Curry led the way with 29 points in 32 minutes of action for the Golden State Warriors as he was the tone setter for them. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So, here it is. What is your reaction to the Warriors dominating Game 2 of the NBA Finals?
So what I was thinking is that in game one we saw how Al Horford hit 6 threes. He was like unstoppable. Derek White played really well too. But, like we knew that production wasn't like sustainable. Like I thought they'd regress slightly, score it, but Horford at 2 points, like that cannot happen in a big game like this.
Yeah, man, for sure. The Golden State Warriors, they came out with the defensive intensity that was necessary. The Boston Celtics, we've been talking about their defense all year. We've been repeating, oh, they're number one in defensive efficiency. Well, if you just looked at game two, although the Boston Celtics defense was actually kind of solid, it was actually kind of good by proper standards, the Golden State Warriors were elite on the defensive end of the floor. This is the reason why I said don't sleep on the Golden State Warriors on the defensive side of the floor, because they were number two ranked
Draymond
on the,
Green.
yep, number two ranked defense on the defensive side of the floor, and Draymond Green, he came out with the intensity necessary. He was playing this basketball game like it was a football game. Like he was tackling people. He was contesting every shot, hustling for every rebound, hustling for every loose ball. Yeah, he only put up 9.7 assists, 5 rebounds. But you watched that game, you saw that he played a much better game, and he was a tone setter for this Golden State Warriors team, especially near at the end of the first half where he fouled Jaylen Brown. Yeah, he fouled him on a three-point shot, but when the refs decided not to tee him up, get him ejected from the game, that's when you knew this game was going to bust wide open, because that was when the Warriors knew, hey, they could be physical, because that was a pretty hard foul that Jaylen Brown took at the end of the first half.
Jaylen Brown was awful. I think he went 5 for 17. He was making a lot of boneheaded mistakes too, and that really cost them. Like, I like what I saw from Brown in game one, but game two was not good.
Yeah, 17 shots for him. He only made 5 of them, scored 17 points. Jaylen Brown's their second best player, at least on paper he is. They got to expect more from that. And Jason Tatum, I know he played terrible in game one. By his standards, terrible that is. Game two, he played much better on the offensive end of the floor. But what caught my eye was seeing his plus minus rating of minus 36.
36, yeah,
That
I
was
was like,
that was pretty awful for Jason Tatum, man. I mean, I know that he wasn't really the reason why they lost this game, but it just wasn't good all around. And remember what Draymond was saying after game one, right? He was talking about how the Boston Celtics, they're not going to hit that many threes again. Draymond Green was proven correct. Although the Boston Celtics went 15 of 37 from the three-point line, most of it wasn't really ineffective time. It didn't come in the third quarter, which is where the Warriors poured their damage. They won 35 to 14
pulled away completely.
in the
Yeah.
third quarter. Jordan Poole, he hits the buzzer beater in the third quarter. That was pretty much the dagger in the heart. But you're the Boston Celtics, though. I mean, I'm not going to be mad about how game two went. They got the split at Golden State
Yeah,
like they needed to
that
do.
was all they were asking for. And
Hmm.
like I feel like the main reason they kind of like fell apart game two, I feel like they were overconfident from their comeback win in game one, but I think they'll bounce back and win game three or four.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting take by you. That's an interesting take. I'm going to review my game three pick on Wednesday. So, but I think the series is going to go back and forth. I still am going to stick with my prediction that I made before the finals. I said Warriors in 7. They got the split at Boston. Now Golden State, they got to get a split at Boston. They got to make sure that they win either game 3 or game 4, because they cannot go down 3-1 heading back into Chase Center for game 5. That's not going to be good for them. And one thing I want to talk about Steph Curry. Steph Curry, he put 29 points. He was the tone setter for them. Yeah, he only shot 9 of 21, but he made 5 of 12 3-pointers. He made the shots that were needed, and he made the plays that was necessary. He was more of a scorer. That's exactly what he did. But let me ask you about this. Klay Thompson, are you concerned with him? He's been struggling throughout the series, and he struggled yesterday because he shot 4 of
I am
19.
concerned about Klay Thompson, and honestly, it really hurts to see because, like, myself, I've always been a huge Klay Thompson fan. Like, I watched him score 37 in a quarter, 60 points in 3 quarters, and like everything that he's done in 16 around there. And now he feels like it's just like since he's been back from injury, he's like forcing shots, and he's just not the same guy he once was.
Yeah, and Klay Thompson these days. Look, we used to remember him as a splash bro, but nowadays when you look at Klay Thompson, I don't want to sound like a hater of Klay Thompson because I actually like the guy a whole ton, but he's been looking more like a role player these days. When you think about the star players, the key players for Golden State, you think about Steph Curry, you think about Jordan Poole off the bench, you think about Andrew Wiggins, you think about Draymond Green, and then Klay. Yeah, he sometimes has a great game, but it's not consistent. If you get what I'm saying. So the way I'm looking at it, I am a little bit concerned by Klay Thompson struggling. But hey, Klay Thompson, the closeout game is still a great player. If the
Game
Warriors
six
get,
play.
if the Warriors can get themselves into a game 6 or a game 7, Klay Thompson, I can rely on him. I'm not necessarily concerned that front. And hey, if Klay Thompson keeps struggling, the Warriors are winning like this. This is going to be pretty good for them because Klay Thompson is supposed to be one of their key players for Golden State. And if he's struggling like this and Golden State's still winning by 19, I'd say that's pretty good. That's pretty good on their front.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I agree with that point in.
I also want to give a shout out to some of these rookies too. Moses Moody, he got to play a bit in the finals. And Jonathan Kuminga, he also got to play as well. It's pretty rare to see rookies play in the NBA finals. 2 lottery picks play in the NBA finals, but they did that. I got to give a shout out to them. Go on with your point.
Yeah. And also, he had a really bad pull last night. It really helped them.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like I said, when Jordan Poole hit that shot to end that third quarter, I knew that was ball game. I was like, yep, that's it. All right, that's that. And that's really all there is to it. But I want to point out the stat to you that I find really crazy. The Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors both shot the same amount of 3-point attempts, and they made the same amount of 3-pointers. And the Golden State Warriors only shot 70% from the free throw line, and they still won by 19 points. I feel pretty good about this Warriors team. And the Boston Celtics, I got to say, the Golden State Warriors, they forced a lot of turnovers from the Boston Celtics. They forced 18 turnovers. That's a lot for a finals, particularly from a team like the Celtics. That is a lot. And I also want to point out about the Celtics starting lineup. Did you know that 3 of the 5 players in the starting lineup only scored 2 points for Boston? Al Horford, Robert Williams, and Marcus Smart. Did you know that?
It's crazy. It's the opposite of game 1.
Yeah, those guys couldn't miss. Game 2, they couldn't buy a bucket. They couldn't hit an ocean if they wanted to, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, congratulations to the Golden State Warriors for winning Game 2. I'm pretty pumped up about it. You're going to go Game 3, Boston. All right, so let me wrap this up and ask you with this final question. Who do you got winning the series as of right now?
As of right now, I'd say Boston in 6.
Boston in 6. Well, I'm still going to stick with the Warriors in 7, buddy. I see where you come from with the Celtics in 6, but I can't pick against the Warriors. That's not what I do on this channel. All right, so I'm going to go with the Warriors in 7. You're going to go with the Celtics in 6. But yeah, what's your biggest takeaway from Game 2?
My biggest takeaway from Game 2 is that I feel like this series is going to be a lot on like which team's role players will step up more.
Yeah, and my biggest takeaway from Game 2 is that Steph Curry, if they go on to win the NBA Finals, he's definitely winning Finals MVP this year. So that's that. So that's definitely where I stand at right now. Well, thanks for being on the show, man. Really
Anytime.
appreciate you coming on here. All right, make sure you go ahead and follow his Instagram. His Instagram is @SpencerBroad, and then his Twitter is @Spencer_Broad. That's going to be in the description box below. I'm going to put the links in there. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye. That was Spencer Broad that you guys just heard. All right, so he gave his analysis on the Golden State Warriors dominating the Boston Celtics in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. He believes that what this game meant was that it'll depend on how the role players will play for the rest of the series, as he believes that'll be the difference. Well, my biggest takeaway is that if the Golden State Warriors go on to win this series, that means Steph Curry will win NBA Finals MVP. That's definitely going to be that for sure. So that is why the Warriors dominating the Celtics in Game 2 of the NBA Finals was impressive, and that I will still stick with my prediction of the Golden State Warriors winning the NBA Finals in 7 games. Now let me go ahead and get to the shoutouts. So shoutout number 1 goes to ToastyFoods. He says, I say it goes to 7 games, Celtics win IMO. Well, I'm going to say this. With the way how the series is going, it could definitely go 7 games for sure. So, yeah, that's my shout number 1. Let's go ahead and move on to shout number 2, which is Evan Walken. He has 2 fire emojis or fire signs, whatever you want to say. That's my shout number 2. Yeah, thanks for complimenting me on my videos. That was for the Jabari Smith video. You guys did a great job liking the video and commenting on it. I'm really happy for you guys for doing that. It means a lot to me. So that's my shout out number 2. Shout out number 3 is Spencer Broad, the guest we just had on. So he says, agreed. So that was his take on Steph Curry's legacy, because I was talking about if Steph Curry wins Finals MVP, he's going to be a top 10 player of all time for sure. And if he wins a Finals MVP alongside with it, he's going to be a top 7 player in all time. And he's going to end up being the greatest point guard of all time if he wins a Finals MVP and wins the Finals. So that was kind of my takeaway. So that's my shout out number 3. Shout out number 4 is the Manjot, the myth, the legend. He says, let's go Dubs, win in 5 because game 5 is on my birthday. Well, I'll say this. If the Warriors win game 5, it's because they're going to have to end up winning 4 straight to end the series. 3 straight as we're speaking right now, because the series is 1-1 right now. They need 3 more straight wins in order for them to make the Warriors win in 5 games. That guy agrees with the guest I brought him for that video for the NBA Finals predictions. So that's my shout out number 4. Let's go ahead to the final shout out number 5. That is Mr. Legend. He says, great video. Fire sign, fire emoji, whatever you want to say it. So that's my shout out number 5. That was me reacting to the Boston Celtics upsetting the Golden State Warriors in game 1. I told y'all not to overreact to the Warriors winning game 1. Looks like I was right on that front because the Golden State Warriors dominated the Boston Celtics in game 2 of the NBA Finals. So that's my shout out number 5. So those are my 5 shout outs that I have to present to you guys. All right, guys, make sure you remember to like the video, comment on each and every video of them, so that way you have a chance to get shouted out every Monday or whenever the first video of the new week comes out. So make sure you guys remember to do that. I'm really appreciative of you guys doing that. It means a lot to me. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in a future video. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Dustin Tran and at Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter at Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. Comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.